Hello all and welcome to another episode of the Two Limes and a Lemon podcast. We are whizzing through the weeks of our spooky season cinema picks, and today we're heading to an all-expenses-paid trip to the Bahamas alongside one of my favourite final girls, Julie James. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have good memories and an extra fish hook to hand, because today we're going to take an extensive look at 1998's I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Are we having theme music? Like, how do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's going to do us some, like, a jingle, I think.
Dave.
Nah.
Danielle.
Two limes and a lemon.
Welcome back to another spooky episode. Before we head into the world of 90s teenage horror, let's take a look at what we've been consuming this week. Now that can be TV, film, books, or perhaps a delicious meal you're excited about. Dave, let's start with you.
I went to the cinema and saw the Demon Slayer movie.
What's that?
It's the second film. It's 2 hours and a half of fight scenes. So this one, it was good, but I was getting a bit fatigued. Too much going on. It was... Okay, so loved it still. It was really good, but it was very much like someone decided to make a animated show and then just put it into a film instead.
Was it a bit like the Pokemon movie where it's just a battle the whole
film? It is,
film?
yeah, it's pretty much that. But like, so it's continuing the story, so it's not like a standalone movie where it introduces the characters and stuff. They did a movie about it, and that's what first got me into it, so I went back and watched the show. And it's building up to this sort of big dramatic ending. So it's about a guy whose whole family has been killed by this demon apart from his sister. His sister gets turned into a demon, and his job is to try and make her back into a human. That's the kind of whole purpose of it all. And throughout this thing, he becomes a sort of a demon slayer hunter, where he's going around killing all these upper rank demons to try and figure out a way to kill the main demon guy so his sister can become human again. That's the kind of gist of it. But where it is now is they're all trying to find this last big evil demon, and they're all in his like main place where he lives, and there's just demons everywhere. Everyone's fighting. It's all really strong, like power level, like massive sword swings and like water going over. It's all like crazy over the top animation stuff.
How about you, Danielle? What have you been up to?
I want sometime in the future to go see the new Conjuring film, because I've seen it's gotten good reviews, or decent reviews. And so, because HBO has all of the Conjuring universe available, I have been doing a rewatch of the Conjuring films, but in the background as I do other things.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of cushioned the worst films in the series, so that I've been able to get through them all.
What's your favourite one in the series?
Well, I haven't gotten all the way through yet. I'm just at the point where I'm at the first Conjuring. Oh, and I'm going through chronologically instead of like as they came out. And so I'm at the point where it's going to be the first Conjuring film. And so I actually want to watch the Conjuring films.
Yeah.
I've been kind of doing the Annabelle and Nun films in the background. But I will say, I think at least watching it in the background, the original Nun wasn't nearly as bad as I remember. And Annabelle Creation wasn't too bad, but regular Annabelle and the Nun 2 were both not great. Nat, how about you?
I've been getting into the new series of Only Murders in the Building, which I think we're now on season 5. I think for me, Only Murders is a bit like when people say they watch Gilmore Girls for like that cozy kind of feeling. I get that when I watch that show. I've only watched like the first 3 episodes I think are out at the minute. I'm excited to have it back. However, from the first 3 episodes, I don't feel like it's got the same feeling as when I watched the other ones. So I am a little bit like, I don't know if it's sort of run its course and it's now kind of like they need either to shake it up a bit or maybe just end it. So, apart from the Alien movies, which I watched when I was young, I think the next horror movie I remember watching was the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I absolutely loved it. But everyone knows the story of the first one, so I feel like it gets talked about all the time. Friends in a car hit a man in the road and try and cover up the body by dropping it into the sea. The only thing is he isn't dead and he comes back for those 4 reckless teens, killing half of them and some extras before Jennifer Love Hewitt's Julie and Freddie Prinze Jr.'s Ray overthrow him again. But all they find of him is his hand. Skip forward a year and we're back at July 4th weekend for the anniversary, where we find Julie suffering from a severe case of depression or PTSD and Ray not being very sensitive to the fact. So when Julie's college friend wins a radio giveaway to head to the Bahamas for the weekend, it might just be the thing to break her out of her depression. The only problem is Ray doesn't want to go, so Julie heads off without him, alongside Carla, Carla's boyfriend Tyrell, and Julie's friend Will, who it's clear would like to leave the friend zone and maybe take Ray's place as Julie's significant other. But no sooner do we land on those supposedly sandy shores than we learn that everything is not as it seems. It's the beginning of the rainy season, the hotel is being run on a skeleton staff, and there seems to be someone stealing personal items from the guest rooms. Ben Willis is back and seeking revenge, but is he working alone or is it bring your son to work day? So, we will start with, what was everyone's first horror movie?
I think mine was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
I couldn't sleep. I think I must have been 8.
You were scared?
Yeah, I was like, I can't go to sleep now. I'm going to get killed by this Freddy Krueger character. Watching it now, he's a comedy gold and it's hilarious. But as a little child, I was like having a bath and all that, like because he comes out of his hand comes out of the
tub, yeah, between her legs,
and going to sleep with the hole opening and Johnny Depp gets dragged down. Yeah,
it wasn't my first horror film, but I also had a similar experience with Nightmare on Elm Street. My 13th birthday party, I had a sleepover with my 2 best friends, and they were like, "Oh, now you're like a teenager, we have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2 because it's on HBO." And I didn't want to watch it, but we did. And I was fine with it because if you've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street 2, it is a lot less scary than the original. My friend got so scared that I had to walk her upstairs to go to the bathroom every time she had to go pee during the night. Because, but then I made my mom watch the original with me because I needed context, and that one scared the hell out of me. And we had our dryer had like a screeching to it, like something wasn't working right in it. And so at night, when my mom was drying clothes in the clothes dryer, you'd hear, that freaked me the hell out.
Like his nails on the wall.
The first horror film I remember watching was with my dad, and I was way too young to be watching it, and it was The Omen. I just remember that scene. There's a scene in The Omen, the original Omen, where a car stops on a hill, and it's got, like, plate glass in the back of it, and the plate glass comes off and beheads somebody.
Yeah, we watched that recently, The Omen, and I do remember that scene.
I had to have been under 10 when I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, that was like me and Alien. I remember I must have been like 7 or 8, and our like local library, you could rent like VHSs back then, it must have been, but we got like the set of the Alien movies, and I watched them with my dad, and he was like, "No, if at any point you're scared, like we'll turn it off." But I absolutely loved it, Alien, when I was like that young. So yeah, that was like my first like dealings with like 18 horror movies. I know you had a question about why I picked this one instead of the first one. But I actually think for this, like, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I prefer the setting of something that's not just like suburbia, like for a slasher film.
It's somewhere different, yeah.
And I think that's why it kind of stuck with me that I prefer this one to the original.
I think I like the coastal small town vibe of the first one.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like suburbia to me. Like, it was this small town, and there was like a reason why a lot of their motivation as characters is they wanted to get out of that town. Like, Julie was going to go to school, and Helen, was that her name?
With Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, she was the whatever princess, and so that was going to be like her ticket out. Spoiler, in the next summer, most of them didn't.
I remember watching it with you a couple years ago. So when you brought this one on, I had like no idea who was who, any of the characters again. I was like, I don't know who survived, who didn't survive. I guess for me, it felt like it was its own standalone film again, but with a little bit of context of like, oh, there was a guy they killed a year ago.
Since the reboot came out, I think this year, I had just watched the original, because I think we were talking about it, and you had mentioned that you liked this one better, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen the original in a while, so thankfully, I had watched the original a few weeks ago.
I think this one has a higher body count than the first one, but from people that you don't really know, like they kill off a lot of staff of this hotel that they go
off
to.
Off camera as well, didn't they?
There were a few.
Well, there's like the cleaning lady, isn't there? That's one. Then there's the dockhand guy.
And the manager.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He does die off screen.
Yeah.
Jack Black, he gets a on-screen death.
Very nice little on-screen death. One point I wanted to bring up from your synopsis is, in the trivia that I looked up for this, apparently this took place 2 years after the original events. And so a lot of the reviews of the film, in their like snarkiness, said it should have been called I Know What You Did the Summer Before Last.
Well, technically, they killed him again, they thought, the summer before. So they hit him with their car, then it's a year later he comes back and starts killing them all. And they kill him, well, they think they kill him again, and then he obviously comes back a year later, which is when this movie's set. So technically he is, well, yeah, because they don't even kill him the first time. So they actually haven't murdered anyone at any point.
Yeah.
Julie James, I think when I was watching movies when I was obviously younger, it was like you had Sidney Prescott and you had Julie James. Those were like the two leads that kept recurring, and obviously they made 2 of these, but they made a hell of a lot more of the Screams. But I always preferred Julie James as a final girl to Sidney, because I felt like...
Was it her push-up bras?
Who?
Julie J. With her tank tops and push-up bras.
Maybe. I don't think that's what it was.
And her glamorous singing voice.
No, she did have a good singing voice. Have you got like a favourite final girl from any franchise?
I think I'd say Nancy from the Nightmare on Elm Street. I thought she was clever, and you know, she gets that like book on how to, like, she makes all these traps and things, has like a whole plan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she kind of like Home Alone's the house for Freddy when he comes back.
She's smart, like she's got like the 2 coffee pots, one hidden. She's like trying to convince Johnny Depp to stay awake, but he's watching beauty show, falls asleep, dies.
I think the other one's probably like Laurie Strode from Halloween, though not so much in the later ones, because I feel like they didn't really do her character that much justice.
Yeah, she seemed really broken by the whole thing by the time she got to older age.
Yeah, but so's Julie in this one. The film starts off with her obviously with her at college, freaking out in her classes where she's dreaming about Ben Willis in the confessional.
She doesn't have a really good support system.
I'm going to go with Ripley.
Ripley is your final... Yeah, she's a final girl.
Yeah, I'll go Ripley. Let's go
She's
Ripley.
good. She's badass.
Right, that's a good one.
But I didn't think that Julie had a very good support system, because clearly she's got PTSD. Ray isn't very supportive.
Yeah.
And, Carla. Carla is her name. Brandy's name's Carla. She kind of, like, she clearly knows about what happened, but she seems kind of dismissive, too.
And I'm like, you would know what went on in that town, and you would, as soon as Julie said, like, he's back, you would think that her character at least would believe her.
Be somewhat protective.
Whereas she just kind of seems to tolerate her.
Like, even if there wasn't a real threat when they were on the island, your friend who has, like, PTSD starts freaking out. Give her some grace.
Speaking of freakouts, I love the opening because she has a nightmare in school, and the teacher's like, "Glad that this geometry has made you so interested," and then she just leaves. Doesn't like, because normally if she's had a freak out, she'll go out 10 minutes, get a drink of water, then come back in. But she kind of just gets up and goes.
She just goes home,
and she just goes. Yeah, and the guy comes out and follows her, and she just goes home to bed. I was like, but she's chatting normally after. I was like, hold on, your class is still going. Go back in there and do some learning. You're paying for this college.
Yeah, but then she also sees Ray, and he like upsets her because he's like, why don't you want to come back there? And she's like, it's not you, it's the place.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's not sympathetic of that. And then he's like a blue collar worker working on the shipyard. She's not very sympathetic of the fact that he has to work to survive. Like, he's not just at college living it up, going to the incredibly urban club in the middle of this small town college.
Oh, yeah.
I do feel like his personality is a far cry from his personality in the first film, though. Because I feel like Ray was a lot more of, like, the endearing, like, male character out of the 4.
Yeah.
Like, the 4 characters. And he was always very supportive of Julie and didn't, like, push her into sex at the beginning and things like that. Whereas in this one, I feel like he's just had enough. Like, he is just, like, whinging. then he's just like making an argument, I feel like, even though, but the thing is, they're like, obviously their relationship isn't great. And then when she rings him up to say like, we've won a trip to the Bahamas, he's like telling his friend at the fish yard that, oh yeah, I'm gonna propose. But I'm like, at no point that we've seen so far in this movie has it ever been like, you guys should be at the stage where you're gonna propose to her.
Do you think that was a reaction? Like, he had like an elaborate proposal planned for this 4th of July weekend, probably like ill-conceived being back in their hometown, but he had this all planned and she kind of wrecks it by saying she's not going to come home. Maybe that is why he was...
Maybe, and that's why he's got the
The thing I don't understand is why, working at the shipyard, he had that ring in his pocket. Keep it at home.
Yeah, he's just asking to lose
That's
it. Yeah. Lost. Me and Dave, obviously not knowing our geography that well, when the radio question comes on and it is, name the capital of Brazil, did you know straight away that they answered the question wrong?
I did not, because I am also very bad at geography. I wrote in my notes, I was like, is this the killer's plan? If they had gotten it wrong, what was he gonna do? And then later on I was like, oh wait, it is wrong.
Because we were like, if you were really up on your geography and you knew that it was Brasilia, I think they say it's Rio de Janeiro, straight away you'd be like, well, this is a setup, and it would kind of like ruin that part of the movie. So I'm like, do you think they picked like a place that they were like, nobody knows what the capital of this country is?
Well, it's a bit tricky because it said up until 1960, Rio was the capital of Brazil. So maybe people,
right?
I don't know, maybe geography buffs aren't really going to see, I still know what you did last summer.
Now we've got another movie with Mekhi Phifer in, our first one being Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
What did everyone think of his character?
I hated him. He was such a jerk. He had one thing on his mind and did not care otherwise.
I watched this one with Dave, and Dave was so upset that he went through the movie and didn't get the one thing that he wanted.
His character was go on holiday and have sex with his girlfriend, and he just kept getting blue-balled every single time. She was like, oh, let's just go to the pool now. It's like,
well, I didn't understand why they were faking having sex. Like, she was jumping on the bed, yelling and screaming. Like, couldn't they have used that time appropriately?
Just to blue ball him. Speaking of, like, characters.
Yeah.
Did you, throughout the entire film that, I was like, that's the killer. That's the killer.
Will?
The Will, that was it.
Yes, I did too.
I was just like...
I was like, there's something off with him.
Yeah. Straight away, I was like, he's the killer because... they haven't introduced anyone else. And that was like, I don't know what you mean. I was like... I
was trying to make so many excuses for Will. Now, the first time I watched it, I didn't clock that he was a killer. Obviously, there's two killers in this one. But yeah, watching it, obviously knowing he's the killer, you're like, yeah, he's definitely the killer. So every time Dave was like, yeah, it's him because of this, I was like, no, he was like, because he was like, there was a scene, what was it, where Julie was up in the bedroom and she finds the man hanging in the wardrobe, and he's like, well, it's got to have been Will. And I was like, no, Will was in the hot tub with Carla and Tyrell. Like, he could never have got up there. And I was like making all these excuses because I wanted the like final reveal of it to be like a payoff.
No payoff, yeah, instantly was. But then like those kind of films have led up to that those horror tropes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean at the time it probably wasn't, as obvious.
During the karaoke scene, I wrote a note that said, I think Will is also involved. He's too nice and not taking the hint that, like, Julie isn't going to get with him because she's involved with somebody else. Yeah, he also knows she's... Or he dies first, it was the other note I wrote.
You hope he dies first?
No, or he's the one who dies first.
Oh, okay.
So nice that he dies.
He is so nice, yeah.
He seems so nice, but then he's gone on this situation that somebody who is not nice would do. What guy goes on a vacation with a girl that has a boyfriend?
And he's like really nice about it, yeah.
Guy that wants to go on a free holiday, and he was invited by Carla and Tyrell, so Julie was just a bonus. No, I actually really like Will. I think because they made Ray so unlikable to me in this movie, I was like, you know what? Just ditch Ray, get with Will. It doesn't matter if he's a murderer.
They make it even more so because Ray is in like his own separate movie. Like he's not even in the action.
This is my favourite part of that whole movie was just Ray's like, I've got to sell the ring to this guy to get a gun, give me bullets, and then I've got to get on this coach somewhere, and this old lady's looking at me. It's raining. I'm like, he's been beat up, and he's like in his little cast.
He gets run over off the road, doesn't he?
He gets run over. That was it. Yeah, he falls down the thing, and he's all like, "Oh, I've got to go save her." And he's like, "Yeah, his journey was great."
When watching Bone Tomahawk, I wrote a note that drawing a parallel between Patrick Wilson's character hobbling through the desert by himself and Ray slowly making his way down to the Bahamas.
But Ray's got more of like a planes, trains and automobiles version of it.
But I liked that you said when he bought the gun, the guy thought he was going to shoot himself. So there's a bit leading up where he shoots the gun, but it doesn't shoot first time. And then you kind of said like how the guy must have put the bullets in the barrel, like one less. Yeah. Yeah,
Ray asks the guy at the pawn shop to load the gun because he's like, is it loaded? And he's like, no. And he's like, load it. I think the man he thought he was going to shoot himself. So he left the first round empty to be like, if he did it, and then he could have changed his mind. So that's my theory on that.
Look at that. the bros, the man, like, yeah, I've got your back. I'll sort you out. So although it did screw him over.
I don't know if it was that in depth, but that was how I looked at it.
Looking at that, I was like, that's kind of cool. That's quite nice that random bloke did that for him, if that was the case.
Yeah.
I do not know about gun laws now or then, and so I do not know if they could have sold a loaded gun to somebody from a pawn shop.
Who looks really angry, yeah.
Yeah. He is selling an engagement ring to get the gun. That seems not like a good situation.
Yeah, he should maybe be like, we have to put an order in.
Yeah, if he wasn't going to shoot himself, maybe he was going to shoot the fiancé that he was selling the ring for.
I did feel like Will changed dramatically as soon as he went into crazy mode. They all do that, didn't they? Like in Scream. As soon as they're like, oh, we could be the bad guys now. They're all like, that's right, it's me. Say hello, Dad. I
loved his radio voice when he's like, what's your favourite getaway, Julie, or whatever. And it's like a completely change in his like cadence of talking.
We said every time they were out by the graveyard when it was raining, they've been dubbed. So they've clearly gone into the recording studio and dubbed it over. Because when the dad's there with his hook hand, when he's like, I don't know what his line was, but it was just so overtly dubbed and like, hello, it's me, I'm gonna get you.
He's like, no more screaming, no more running, it's time to die.
Yeah, that's it. It's time to die.
Speaking of that graveyard scene, when she first goes there before the killers show up or are revealed, they go there, there's like the dad's wife and daughter, I think, and then there's a fresh grave that's been dug for Julie James. And she says the line, what's today's date? And everyone's like, oh, it's July 4th. However, the grave it then pans to just says Julie James, the date of, like, the year of her birth and the year of her death. It doesn't say anything about July 4th. So I was like, why have they left that in? That's so stupid.
I was going to say, this whole plot is very elaborate to, again, try and kill Julie. And Ray isn't even gonna supposedly be there. So he has they've bought 4 tickets and hotel rooms for people on a fake Bahamas gift package. Ben and Will have killed everybody else on this island who presumably he worked with and knew for years, all just to kill Julie James.
Yeah, I don't really understand why the staff had to die, honestly, because they were also your skeleton staff. Like, there's hardly anybody on the island. I'm sure he could have killed Carla, Tyrell, and Julie without the staff ever finding out who it was.
Yeah, because he, like, the first instance that we get that he's going to be just randomly killing people, which makes me wonder if this wasn't just a slasher film that got retrofitted into a I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel, was, you know, Derek the deckhand dies. I'm like, what did he do to anybody? He isn't, like, he didn't even work there whenever Ben Willis presumably worked there. And then the most unjust death in the whole thing, poor Titus dies. Titus, who just wants to get high and have fun.
And obviously at the time that this was made, I didn't even know who Jack Black was. But then when I watched it again more recently, I was like, oh my god, it's Jack Black.
Yeah, just being Jack Black.
Apparently he is uncredited.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
His
His death was probably one of the worst ones, honestly. Like getting the garden shears through the chest.
Yeah. Is he uncredited? I wonder why.
All I could find that he was uncredited.
He's like, I don't want to be remembered for this. I feel like another one of the worst deaths is it Nancy, the barmaid?
Yeah.
Later on down the line, people have things that are going missing in their hotel rooms. I think Julie loses a toothbrush, Carla loses a hairband. They have a suspicion that it is one of the workers. Is he like the bellman, isn't he? Who, I don't know how they think it's him. Yeah, how do they actually think it's him?
Stuff kicks off, they start finding dead bodies, and then they're just searching the whole place. And they search where he lives, which is in like a creepy tower.
Yes.
And they find some voodoo stuff, and then they find their items. But I think they're just doing a search.
So they're not specifically targeting him. Right, okay. Because I did wonder that. I was like, how did they get like an idea that it was this guy?
I was more concerned that Julie hadn't brushed her teeth in a day.
Yeah, bit gross. Oh, before that, because obviously this is, leading up to this, nobody believes Julie that this is all going on. They're fobbing her off. They're like, no, you're going crazy. It's just you and your PTSD. Until the scene where they go to the gym, Carla goes into the, the drying room and finds the maid in the tumble dryer, and Julie goes to get a tan on a sunbed, which is never a good idea in a horror movie. We've seen so many with tanning beds nowadays. However, Hookman comes in and he puts a cable tie on the sunbed and turns the ultraviolet light way up. They then come in to rescue Julie. He hasn't disabled the panel to change the frequency or whatever of the tanning bed, but they proceed to all just freak out instead of just turning it down. Instead they're using like weights to smash it open, which probably could have electrocuted her in there, instead of just being like, let's all just think a minute and turn it off, and then we'll work out how to get her out of it.
I noted that too.
We were like, they could just turn it off. It's like, no, it's more dramatic this way.
Or just look for like a plug.
and then find something sharp to cut the zip tie that he tied it down with after they've turned it off. I had one before that though. There was one scene I wanted to ask people about that I commented on. So Julie and Carla are in the gym. Carla says, you have to relax, go take a thing in the sauna, in the tanning bed. And then the camera lingers on Julie's stomach and then pans down slowly as she takes her like exercise shorts off. It skeeved me out a bit.
I think it was very 90s, the scene. Who do you think is scarier? Ben Willis's Hookman or Ghostface?
Ghostface.
Yeah, Ghostface. Because they're not... Well, I don't find them scary, but I feel like Ghostface is a bit more intense.
You think?
Yeah, he's just silly Hookman.
Yeah, but Ghostface is always like tripping over shit and like falling down the stairs.
Yeah, but he's not a silly old man going, time to die.
I mean, that's right at the end. Like beforehand, he wasn't saying much to everyone. I feel like maybe in the first movie, he was a bit more of like an enigma. But I agree in this one. He's not scary at all.
When you see him at like from a distance and you just see like the rain slicker and hat and hook, that's creepy. But yeah, when he does too much talking, and I still don't understand his rationale completely. And then you throw Will in, and then there's this whole like pun with Will's name that was kind of groan-worthy.
Oh, that's great. So his name's Will Benson. And obviously the killer is called Ben Willis. And then he does the big reveal of, it's Will, Ben's son. The dramatic music, the lightning going off. No, I mean, the guy that plays him, Matthew Settle, he was always my favourite character in this movie. But I didn't really know anything about the actor. Then I watched Band of Brothers, and there's a character in that, Spears, and I was like, oh, I really like him. And it's the same guy. And I was like, oh my God, like, I never knew that character was like the I Still Know What You Did Last Summer guy. And then I started watching Gossip Girl later on down the line, which I'm probably ashamed to say, but... And then he's like the dad in that. So I feel like everywhere I seem to turn at one point, I was like, there he is again.
I didn't pick up on that. Oh, that's funny.
When I was younger and he did that reveal, I was like, wow, I never saw that coming.
Apparently, when filming in the Bahamas, they just had a massive bug problem.
Oh, really?
Through the majority of filming there. So a lot of the cast were getting attacked by bugs through most of the filming. So they're trying to do a scene, and then you'd have all these sort of bugs just come along and getting bitten by them and stuff like that. So any outdoor location, they were although it's yeah, we're filming the Bahamas because they're in that same area for ages, and all the lights and stuff.
Although I love the location of the Bahamas, it's not what in my head I picture the Bahamas to look like. I know it's meant to be the rainy season, but when they rocked up in their boat at the first bit where it's still meant to be all lovely before they know the rainy season's coming, me and Dave were both a bit it looks a bit rubbish. I expect crystal clear waters and sandy beaches. Yeah, it was all just a bit muddy looking. We've got better beaches over in England.
Well, even when they wander around the hotel grounds, it doesn't seem, I don't know, it just seems like a island not in a tropical location.
Yeah, 100%.
Locale. Oh, and the gym. The gym is looks like a sad garage gym, and they walk into it and they're like, gym is great. It's amazing. Oh, and there's later on when they're running away from Ben Willis, you see geography that you haven't seen before. There's a greenhouse that Carla falls through, and I have no idea where that was on the grounds.
Carla just does a lot of falling in this film. So there's a scene where they're running away with Nancy, Julie, Carla, Julie, and Nancy. They go up into the rafters above the bedrooms, and there's a scene where they're they've been looking down at us in our rooms. Carla then gets her foot stuck in the rafters, and then Ben Willis comes up and they fall through the roof together onto the bed. She manages to get out of there. Then I don't even know how she gets from that room then out onto a roof where she then falls through the greenhouse roof. And then he somehow runs down super fast to get into the greenhouse. He should be a bit out of breath, I would imagine, at his age.
Well, unless at this point it's Will. If they're tag teaming.
Oh, possibly. Is there two outfits though? I just assumed that all of the fisherman guy stuff was Ben.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was that expensive to buy another coat and hat and hook.
The question is, though, he loses his hand at the end of the first movie. Has he just, screwed a hook on nowadays? Has he got, a pirate hook sort of situation? Obviously, it comes to the climax. Somewhere along the lines, Tyrell gets murdered. Dave was very upset that he got murdered, where Ben Willis basically steps down out of the ceiling into the kitchen to kill him.
He does, doesn't he? He hooks him.
Yeah, because we were how did he even get in that room? They would have seen him before Tyrell got a hook through the neck, I think it was.
Could have stayed together. They could have sorted it out so much easier.
If they had all stayed together, they easily could have overthrown an old man and his crazy son. The movie had to happen. It's the same reason as why did Estes run off to the beach to then hit Will with an oar instead of just being that guy's the son of the guy that's trying to kill you.
Yeah, because
that's true.
Ben Willis raised his family on that weird island. Wouldn't Estes know Will?
100%. And he kind of looks at him when they first are checking into the hotel oh, I've been doing this since before you were a gleam in your father's eye. And it's almost he knows and he's being I know who you are sort of thing. Nod, nod.
Also, the manager, wouldn't he know? Was he just busy being grumpy?
He was the most grumpiest person. Yeah, I liked him actually. He was great.
The manager is played by Jeffrey Combs, who is famous for doing The Reanimator.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Oh, it's so good. It's a Lovecraft story, but it's done with a bit of humor to it.
And then we get to the end. They're back at the graves. Ray turns up out of nowhere after sailing his own boat through perilous waters and something out of the perfect storm.
Well, yeah, he threatens the ship captain to give him his boat with his...
Yes.
Points a
Which
gun in
we
his
were
face.
like, we thought the captain was gonna sail him over, but then we remembered like he's a fisherman himself, so he probably doesn't need somebody to like taxi him over there. He turns up, but he's not really much use because, as we said before, his first shot does nothing. And then Will manages to get the upper hand, but then Ray does some like ninja moves to make Ben kill his own son by embedding the hook into his chest.
Oh yeah, he moves last minute, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No!
And then Julie shoots him.
Yes, Julie then shoots Ben a load of times, but not in the head, which would be the only one that counted. And then we find out that she survives, Ray survives, and also somehow Carla survives because they just apparently gave up. Like, he had Carla in his mitts, but he was like, no, I'm gonna not kill Carla. He obviously had some sort of soft spot for her. It then cuts to, I assume, another year later, because all these things seem to happen on July 4th, where her and Ray are living happily in their nice suburban house. Ray's brushing his teeth with an electric toothbrush, and the last thing we hear him say is, I love this thing, for like 20 years until the next remake or reboot. And Julie is walking around the house, she sees a window open, goes back to bed, and then gets pulled under and screams. And Dave was like, is that really how they left it for 20 years?
I thought it was a dream. I thought it was another one of her PTSD dreams.
I mean, I don't know. I suppose until we watch the new one, we won't know whether it was or not.
Yeah. Because I was thrown off by the fact that, because it looks like they've just gotten married. Because she walks up to this little suburban house and she like pats a for sale sign that says sold on it and then walks through the door. And in my head I was like, so she's okay living back in her hometown again now. Like, what has she done with her life? And she's back to this place that gives her PTSD. And then...
Well, I suppose this time she thinks he's dead because last time they only found his hand. So it left it a bit more unended, I suppose.
But if this is real, then they didn't find him.
Yeah.
Because he's in the end. So that's why it all seemed a little too, like, super happy at the end. Like, everything seemed a little too perfect. And Ray is just like, I love this stupid toothbrush.
Oh, yeah, that toothbrush advert.
Yeah, Dave loved that. He was so like, oh my god, I can't believe he's like talking about a toothbrush. Why?
I love this
Julie's
toothbrush.
like screaming in the other room. He's just like brushing his teeth.
It's like, yeah, it's that good, isn't it?
That's why I thought it was a dream. Because again, I was like, why would they leave it like that if that's not a dream? Because that's an awful way to leave your characters and then not make another movie for 20 years.
Would you go and see the new one?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I want to watch. I'm curious about the new one. I like the premise of the original.
So let's start doing our favourites and worsts. So, who was your favourite death?
I can't think of any, to be fair.
Yeah, nothing stands out.
They all
to
just
me.
get hooked, didn't they?
My favourite one, then, I'll go for my one, is the lady that's like knocking on the doors and she's like, housekeeping? And then she goes to knock on the next one and she's got blood on her hands and she goes back to her little trolley. She's trying to work out where all this blood has come from. And then the man, who apparently has just been sitting in a hotel room on his own but still in his like rain slicker and full outfit, not knowing this woman's gonna knock on the door, comes out and then just like murders her and drags her in there.
Throwing you in.
I appreciated the little tableau with the hotel manager where he was like at his desk, sort of propped up, and then it had "I know" written behind him or whatever. But we didn't actually see him die.
Oh yeah, that ruined the radio. Yeah. Right. Who is everyone's favourite character?
Probably the guy from Dawn of the Dead, Tyrell. Yeah. Just because he just wants so badly to get with his girlfriend for that. He's like, we're going away. It's a holiday weekend. It's going to be great. And he just couldn't get there. And he died. And I was like, oh, okay.
Such an unfinished story he had.
I like Titus best. I was sad that he died so early. I would have liked to have seen more of Titus and Derek the deckhand.
Ah, yeah, they had quite like a bromance going on them too.
Your team Will?
My favourite was Will. Yeah, loved Will. I don't care if it's obvious that he's a baddie. She should have ditched Ray and got with Will. Has anyone got any favourite scenes or scenes that they thought were particularly well done?
Her coming out of school when she's had a panic attack and just going to sleep, and then the building up of tension as she goes to see who's in her wardrobe and it's her friend.
I think the most memorable for me was the Titus's death. I thought that was like one of the best like actiony scenes and had some humor to it. Everything else sort of blended together for me.
For me, I think it was the bit with the globe.
Oh.
And, actually, there's two scenes that stick in my mind. One, which was the globe that featured quite a few times, and then Julie finally goes and looks and realises that Rio isn't the capital, and then Estes turns up, and it's all very like, oh, Brasilia is the capital of Brazil.
Did they mention, like, how did he know about the...
So, at the beginning, he says, how comes you young kids can afford to stay here? And they're like, oh, we won a radio, like, competition. And he's like, oh, what was the question? And that's when they tell him. And he's just like, oh, okay. But, I mean, back then he could have been like, that's not the answer.
The place looked like an absolute shithole. Like, why did he not think they could afford that? Like, even when they, like the karaoke is so crappy and the bar is so crappy, and then she makes them a dark and stormy, but puts hot sauce in it. Like, nothing was good about that place.
Also, with that karaoke scene, me and Dave were laughing because we were like, so is like Ben Willis there, like typing on a computer,
yeah,
I know what you did last summer, into the lyrics of the karaoke machine.
Well, that's why I thought Nancy was involved for a short period of time.
Yeah, and when she starts freaking out, Nancy kind of walks away and is like, But the other scene that always sticks in my mind is when they go down into the storm shelter and Carla's like freaking out and Julie's like, just hold my hand. And then she's like, I am holding your hand. And then it proceeds to then turn the light on and there's like all these dead bodies and she's holding like the maid's hand. So what is everybody's final scores?
I'll go. Let's go. I'm going to give it a solid like 3-4 kind of out of 5 limes because it was fun.
Nice.
Like I watched it and I enjoyed laughing, and then like even though I knew Will was the killer all along, it's good to know when you get it right. Something about like it's blatantly obvious, but it's still good to be like, haha, I knew it was him. Like it's so obvious it was him, but you still get that sort of nice like. I'm a smart person for getting it right. I'm a detective. Stand aside, Sherlock. I think I know this one. So I think generally I did just enjoy watching it. It was quite fun. Maybe if I wasn't watching it with people, it would have been lower. Like watching it with you, Nat, made it fun to watch. It's definitely like a popcorn sit down with friends watching it. So,
yeah.
Danielle, I don't know what you thought.
No, I agree. I think it was like a fun slasher. I think it would have been even more fun for me if it was a standalone slasher, like people at this weird little resort getting killed. Yeah, so I'll give it a 3. Long story short, I'll give it a 3.
Right. Well, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it was... I mean, obviously I picked it. It's something that I have fond memories of, but I can appreciate that it's not a fantastic movie. So it got the extra 0.5 because of Will. Right. Well, thank you for coming along for another one of my choices.
Yeah.
Because we had trouble locating one of the other ones that was somebody else's choices. See you next time.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.